Wooden crates are a great addition to pretty much any build or scenery. So to start with, we're going to take some wooden coffee stirrers, making sure they're quite thin, and then dunking them in a mixture of watered down black gesso and some black primer, then letting them dry so you get a nice pre-weathered piece of wood. To start with, we're going to make a basic crate, so with 2 bits of foam core, we're going to cut them to the same shape and then glue one on top of the other. Or alternatively, you can glue the foam core together, then trim it down to shape. For the glue, I found Mod Podge was the best for this, as it has a low profile and dries fairly quickly. When that was then cured, I took some lengths of wooden coffee stirrer and trimmed them down to size so they would sit flush with each of the opposite ends. Then trimmed the foam core down slightly so it wouldn't overlap on the edge. Using Mod Podge, I then glued the wooden parts onto each of the opposite sides. While those were drying, I made an open-topped crate variant. And for the sides of this one, they need to be a little bit different because there's nothing to support them on the inside, as it's only one layer of foam core. So I glued some cross beams into place, using Mod Podge to secure them. I then glued this onto the piece of foam core. And I found it's easier that whatever side you start with is the one that needs to not overlap the end of the piece of the foam core, because then you can attach the cross piece at the end, whereas if you do it the other way around and you have it overlapping, then you have to fit a piece in between those areas, then it's a bit trickier. Also, when having a smaller contact area, you need to make sure it doesn't warp inwards or outwards, so just make sure it fits parallel to either side. With that done, I can jump back over to the regular crates, and this time on the lengthways pieces that extend beyond the length of the foam core, gluing those on. And the advantage of this is then you can trim them down if they do overlap, and it's a bit more forgiving. I did the same process for the open topped crate, but being a lot more careful on the top piece, as the contact area is a lot smaller and only consists of the other coffee stirrers for now, but we will add something inside to make it a bit stronger later. There's a reasonable chance that some of the wooden stirrers will warp slightly when they're drying, but given they're wooden crates, they're kind of a bit crude anyway, so it's not too bad. For the lid, I glued 4 coffee stirrers across, making sure that they stuck out either end the same distance. Then again, if you want to, you can trim them down to size, but this will depend entirely on the style of box you're making, and how large the box is. I had a slight misalignment on this one, so just checking it before it fully dried, I went in with a pair of clippers and trimmed the side of the box down. And these coffee stirrers are a fairly forgiving material to work with, and then you have a much nicer fit on the lid. To add a few more details, adding a few more crossbeam pieces on the outside of the boxes, and where the lid overhangs on the edge, this is normally a good look to go for. But ideally you don't want it sticking out over the edge, unless you also have a crossbeam piece on top of the crate, which I'll do on another one later. And you just have to make sure it's the same distance between each edge, which is where Mod Podge is a forgiving material to work with. If your lid doesn't extend over the edges, then adding the side pieces and a crossbeam on top gives you a very sturdy looking crate. With all the wooden crates done, I decided to make some kind of stowage covered ones, which is a lot quicker because you take the blocks of foam core, trim them down into rectangles, and start gluing them together to make one large shape, but with the rectangles still showing through underneath. When creating the underlying shape, it's easier to go for a wider base, then stack things on top of it. But there's really no wrong way to do this step, and whatever shape you make underneath will get an interesting result at the end. Just bear in mind what kind of stowage you want to make. Using the same techniques as the standalone wooden crates, just going along and cladding the outside of the bottom layer with wooden coffee stirrers. There's no point doing the upper sections as they'll be covered by cloth, so taking some water, some PVA and a few drops of paint just to give it a base colour, mixing that together so it's kind of mixed together, then taking some tissue paper and cutting it into rectangular shape based on the size of what you're covering, giving it a bath in the mixture before draping it over the top of the piece. While still wet, you can then push it into the recesses and the creases so you get a nice natural effect on it. Top tip would be make sure you have something to dry your hands on after this, as it is quite a messy process. If you don't get good coverage from one piece, you can then take another rectangle and cover any sections you've missed. Using an old piece of plastic to dry on is also quite useful, as it prevents it sticking. You can also spend a little while making sure the creases and the draping is exactly how you want it. But moving back to our open top crate, we're going to put some cloth inside by trimming a piece down to shape, then poking it inside using a tool. Beyond just making it appear to be stuffed with cloth, this will also add a bit more structural integrity to the edge walls where they're only attached to the other pieces of wood. By using a flatter tool, I can smooth out the area inside and make it suitable to add something else to later. If you want to make one or two of your crates stand out, you can also paint them. So I went for a gunship green, that kind of generic military crate you see in video games and films, and gave a good layer of that all over. Using a stencil I got from Green Stuff World, I went in and added a bit of text to the top of the lid. To start with, I tried using a sponge to kind of stipple on some paint, but it turns out using a brush is a lot more effective, so for the second piece of text, I just went for a paintbrush and some stippling instead. When the tissue dries, it always loses a bit of the colour saturation, so going in with some brown paint and some tan paint, I just bumped up the contrast again and made it a bit more consistent with how I wanted it to look. Using the same watered down paint, I then added a bit of weathering to the painted crate, as I felt it was a bit too clean. For the final touches on the wooden crate, I dabbed some Mod Podge inside and glued in a rifle from my bits box. So this crate could also double as an objective marker or some kind of story element. I then realised at this point that it would be good to have a pallet to stand some of the crates on. I took some coffee stirrers and assembled a frame, using some slightly thicker pieces of balsa wood to act as the spaces between the top and the lower layer. On the underside I cut a corner and only used 3 cross beams instead of 5. Now complete, the palette adds a little bit of extra realism. One final step to do is just go around with a pair of clippers and trim off any of the overhang from any of the wooden beams, which gives you much tidier crates and pallets. With those trimmed, they're now complete. So you have crates in a few different styles, which can act as scatter terrain, or you can attach them to existing builds and make them a bit more interesting. Scale for approx 28 to 32mm, and pretty system agnostic, so they'll fit in fantasy or sci-fi, depending on how you style them. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time.